Welcome to Shop Talk Podcast. I don't know the slogan. Sorry, Mike. And as you can see, I'm also not Mike. But thank you for joining us today. We're going to be talking emergency management, public safety, all things hurricanes, the things you want to know, maybe the things you don't really care about, but we're going to tell you anyways. So I'm going to turn it over to Tom Lloyd. I'm going to ask him to introduce himself, tell us a little bit about his career with Santa Rosa County. Also, I just remembered I didn't introduce myself. My name is Sarah Whitfield. I'm the Public Information Officer with our Communications and Media Relations team. So thank you, and I'll turn it over to Tom.
So good morning. Absolutely stoked to be here. I think this is not my first podcast. The first one I ever did was with the Sheriff's Office when Rich Lloyd was the Public Information Officer. So, yes, like Sarah said, Tom Lloyd, Public Safety Director for Santa Rosa County. What does that look like? So that is an all-encompassing role. I feel as though the title fits it. I am ultimately responsible for our county's 911 center, emergency management office, and animal services division. I also act as the county emergency manager if we have a disaster. So
yeah, that's a lot. So why don't you tell us a little bit about how you became the public safety director? Like, where did you start? Because I know you've been with the county for a while now.
I have been with the county for a while. I think we're coming up on 20, maybe a little over 20 years now. So I started in 2006 on September 11th, 2006. So why is that important to me? My first job with the county was a 911 operator. So I started 911 on 911. And it took me a few years to put that together, obviously, because September 11th has, an incredible meaning to us as Americans. But yeah, so that's how I started. Started with the county. I did that for about 8 years. Absolutely loved it. You are the first responder, if you will. So you manage emergencies, take 911 calls, take emergency and non-emergency calls, and we have some of the best operators still here in the county that stand watch over our community. So once I did about 8 years there, opportunity presented itself for me to move up into emergency management. Again, had to apply. And that in itself. You're like, all right, you work for the county. I want to leave one job that I am comfortable and I felt as though I was proficient in, and then you got to shake things up. So applied and moved into emergency management as our operations chief. And I think it was close to the same time as when you started.
Yeah, because I started in 2014 in the Public Information Office.
Okay, so you had some time. I stepped in about 16, I think is when it was. Or, around, 14,
yeah,
same time,
because you were already there.
Yep.
Yeah.
So that's when I moved up into emergency management as the ops chief. That also, some of the duties were some emergency services coordination. So if we had a large incident, just making sure that every voice was heard. Mm-hmm. So sheriff's office, EMS, fire, any responder that would have to go to the scene, I would act as the coordinator for them during an emergency, and then help out the incident commander, whoever that was, in solving the problem. And there have been lots of problems we have solved over the years here in Santa Rosa County.
I think I remember a train derailment not long after I joined the Public Information Office. And, we knew you'd been working real hard out at the scene, and we decided to decorate your entire office with Christmas lights.
Mm-hmm. That so interesting story in itself. Exactly. I remember coming back to the office after, it may have been the first night or second night, but it was dark and it was, I don't know, around midnight, maybe a little bit later. And as I'm walking back to the office, and again, you're kind of on high alert because you're working that scene, and seeing a glow outside the building coming from my office, and then you're trying to work through, like, what is this? And by the time I got into the building, somebody, some lovely coworkers, teammates had completely covered my office, with Christmas lights. And so that was also not the only time. I think there was also some wrapping of pretty much everything in my office with newspaper. And yeah, that type of camaraderie goes a long way, especially in those stressful situations. Just to carry you through, you get a laugh, and then of course you get great memories out of that. So yeah.
Yeah, so we've been working together for quite a while now, 11 years as of June 1st, and we've seen a lot of different events that have happened over the years. Can you talk a little bit about the history and growth of emergency management and how you've seen it change over the years? Because it's vastly different than when I first started.
Oh, it is very different. So, yeah, absolutely. So, emergency management, a lot of people think of emergency management just as hurricanes, right? So, there's actually a slogan that a previous director, Cheryl Bracewell, she had a sign above her office that said, EM is not just a hurricane thing. And a lot of people do just consider emergency management a hurricane thing because the hurricane tends to be the biggest thing that you see us forward facing on. But some of the disasters that we have encountered here within our county have really forced us to embrace what emergency management really is, which is an all hazards approach to everything. So it's not just a hurricane, it is floods. So when was the last time Santa Rosa County flooded? We've had 2 recently. And that's aerial flooding, where a storm sets up over us and just dumps a ton of water. When was the last time we had a freeze or a snowstorm?
Oh, January?
That happened this year.
2025?
So again, it's all hazards. It could be something as complex as a motor vehicle crash on the interstate that shuts the interstate down. Well, we work and coordinate with different agencies to make sure that traffic continues to flow, and obviously life safety concerns and no chemicals are leaking or anything like that. So it truly could be anything from a pandemic to an invasive animal. South Florida deals with that quite a bit. So it's anything. We are a jack of all trades. We know a ton of people to be able to accomplish tasks, and that's really our job, is to handle anything. So,
even though it's not the only thing you do with hurricanes, it is a big part of being a Floridian. And right now we are in what is considered peak hurricane season. So why don't you talk to us a little bit about prepping your home, family, and don't forget your pets.
Never, ever, ever forget your pets. So exactly, just exactly what you said. We are in the peak of hurricane season. And if you're paying attention to the tropics right now, they are on fire. True peak of hurricane season lies really around September 10th, 11th, and 12th. That's where we see the pinnacle, and then it drops off dramatically after that. But again, we don't ever want to let our guard down.
Right.
So some of the things that we do to prepare is we really ramp up our messaging, and we do that with you guys to push out information that we need the public to see. And then and I know we'll talk about it as we get into this. There are levels or an escalation, that we use in messaging, because we don't want to start by banging the loudest drum to get everyone's attention. Right. If it's a heat advisory, we may sit down and just say, hey, it's going to be warm today. These are our concerns. And then not only do we bring you the problems, but we discuss the solutions with you. And then your team does an absolutely incredible job making sure, you're very welcome, shameless plug, that they do an absolutely incredible job making sure that the public has the information. And then ultimately, it's up to them if they want to apply the techniques. They're just kind of guidelines. So when it comes to a storm, the general rule of thumb now is 1 week ready.
Yeah, it used to be first 72 on you, and we've discovered that, you actually might need to prepare for more than 72 hours.
Absolutely. So if you have an Ivan or a Katrina or even a Michael, the amount of devastation that comes with a storm like that is going to tax all of emergency services. It is going to tax your emergency managers, your communications teams, everyone that is responsible for our community's worst day, and then putting it back together. It's going to obviously weigh heavy on us. And what does that do? That creates some accountability within our community where, hey, we want you to take care of you the best that you can. I promise we are coming, and we are coming with whatever we need to make sure that you are safe and taken care of. Your family is good, your pets are good, but it's probably going to take us a minute to get there. And if you have the ability to take care of your family, including your pets, we want to encourage you to do that. We also have a saying: we want to handle the emergencies at the lowest level possible. And not as a status, but at the lowest level possible means that, hey, Sarah, you're going to take care of your house, your pets, and then once that's taken care of, we want you to check on a neighbor or two, check on your family, and then that actually multiplies out. So again, first 72 ultimately is on you, but we want you to make sure that you're 1 week ready. So that's water, that's medications, and that's the appropriate amount of water for each person and your pet. It's medications for you, your families, and your pet. It's food. It's simple toiletries, anything that you may need. And I know multiple pharmacies. You can reach out, contact your healthcare provider, and let them know, hey, we've got a storm coming, as they should be aware, and you might need certain medications to get you through on an extended basis. And they will work with you to make sure that that's accomplished, because again, you have to take care of you, and that's really what it's all about. You take care of yourself, then you reach out, you check on your loved ones and your neighbors.
Yeah, so part of preparing, I believe, is knowing your evacuation zone. santarosa.fl.gov/knowyourzone will take you to a lovely map where you can plug in your address, and it'll tell you if you live in an evacuation zone or not. Why do you think it's important to know that? And then also kind of talk a little bit about the importance of trusting the right channels.
Yes. So know your zone. Ultimately, again, it goes back to personal responsibility. And we are going to reach out, and when we need to issue evacuations, we are going to issue evacuations based on zone. And again, we do not, we, as in the EM office and myself, do not take that lightly. So what does that look like if we have to issue an evacuation order? That means that we have to work through, when is the storm going to get here? What type of damage is that storm potentially going to cause? Which areas are going to be affected? And then not only us, but we also communicate with the surrounding counties to the east and the west of us. So Escambia County, Florida, Okaloosa County, Florida, as well as Escambia County, Alabama. Because if all of us issued an evacuation order at the same time, what's going to happen, right?
Mass chaos.
Mass chaos, and everyone is going to get jammed up together. They're going to be stuck on 65 or stuck on 10, and that's the last thing that we want. So that's our job. We worry about the storm. We worry about evacuations. We worry about the threshold, what that looks like. So if an evacuation order has to take place, and this is estimated with the National Weather Service as well as population, not management, population numbers, congestion, arteries, traffic incident management, all of that takes things into consideration. Once we take all that factors in, basically our number is roughly 36 hours. So that is 36 hours prior to landfall. If we have to call for an evacuation of all our zones, we have to issue that evacuation 36 hours before, because we want to make sure that people are safely out of the area before the storm hits.
Yeah.
Well, when does that come and become actually pretty tricky? If you take Hurricane Michael, for instance, we only had a couple of days notice.
Yeah.
We knew that something was going to form over the Yucatan. Well, the second it popped up, it was headed straight for us. And again, we were fortunate where it shifted a little bit east, and we were able to go and help those individuals. But we had some thresholds. We were looking at decision making overnight while people were preparing, and our citizens do a great job at that. They really do listen to us when we issue alerts or we share alerts, and some of the warnings that do come to us. They do heed those, and actions were being taken to move people in the right direction. Now, when we have to make those decisions, you hit the nail on the head as far as a trusted source.
Right.
So if you have social media, as you notice, as you work into hurricane season, you will see all kinds of posts and sharing of posts and tweets and whatever else social media platforms that are out there now that say X, Y, and Z is happening, and it's model run this, and not that those individuals are bad or not knowledgeable. Unfortunately, there are some bad actors, and you do need to be well aware of that. But we will always point you to a trusted media source. So officially, the National Weather Service in Mobile is responsible for our area of responsibility, which is the southern portion of Alabama, a little bit of Mississippi, and the panhandle of Florida, our 3 counties anyway. So we trust them, and that is the information that you will see us share. Now, we take a lot of input from other sources.
Right.
So we have a great relationship with Red Zone Weather. He is trusted. There is a lot of public outreach that he does. But at the end of the day, when we do our sharing and our posting and we're making our decisions, we rely heavily on the National Weather Service.
Right.
Some of that other stuff may have input, but we always, again, go with the National Weather Service out of Mobile. Team Mob, they are absolutely incredible, and we support them, and they've done a stupendous job over the years making sure that we're safe.
Yeah, big shout out to Mobile Weather. Thank you for all your graphics when we're
Jason
having severe
Beeman.
weather, because that is what I'm able to push out to our residents at 2 and 3 o'clock in the morning. Yeah, it's me. I'm the one that doesn't sleep, and I'm sending you the severe weather alerts on our Facebook page. But
And we appreciate that.
yeah, hey, I live in this community. I serve this community. So follow your official sources. We have a great team of local media around here, too, that are sharing the official forecasts and all of that from the National Weather Service,
Absolutely.
National Hurricane Center. So just make sure you're following someone who's legitimate, because even just this week, I saw some rogue posts with a forecast 2 weeks out that showed something coming in near the panhandle of Florida. And that's way too far out to know if anything's actually going to happen. But it's a good reminder to always be prepared. And so, speaking of that, what are the storm trends looking like this year? They have been saying it's going to be a robust season, and we're starting to see an uptick in activity. But
so these are things.
What do you look like?
These are things we don't talk about, Sarah. These are these are the things. Real quick, I did want to touch on it, and I kind of missed it. We have a level of escalation with our social media posting and some of the stuff that we push out to the public. It is. And we do that on purpose, right? So if it's a post and we're going to get some interaction, that's information we want to share. If it's you escalate to press release and we're communicating with our media partners, hey, we really want to get your attention.
yeah,
And then if it is like this is the heat of it and I need you to pay attention and we are pushing out valid information and we have some serious concerns, 9 times out of 10, you snatch me up and say, Tom, we need to get in front of the public, and this is how we need to do it. And that's when I will share maybe a hurricane briefing or these are some potential hazards. Excuse me. And again, I use this analogy all the time. What's the difference between a watch and a warning? A watch is you have all the ingredients to make tacos, but you're taking your time. You're not making the meal right now, but you have everything laid out. And then if we have a warning, that means that the atmosphere is volatile, and it wouldn't take much for that spark for us to be in the middle of it, in the heat of it. And there are times where a warning gets issued and, nothing happens. That's great, but we are always leaning forward, and we're going to make sure that you have the information. So anyway, the tropics. They are heating up. That is just the nature of the beast, if you will. The Gulf is warm. The Atlantic is warm right now, and we are seeing, as we do every year, multiple tropical waves developing and starting to move off the African coast out into the Atlantic, which is warm. And what may start as a thunderstorm that comes off the coast of Africa gets out in that warm water. All the ingredients are there, and next thing you know, we have rapid intensification of something that literally started off as a rainy day, and we get a little rotation to it. And next thing you know, we have it's Aaron. We have a Category 5 storm that had some historical numbers. It was very impressive to see how that storm started, and within a very short time, we were Cat 5, and then it's back down to a 4 now. It may actually be a 3. Also, shout out to the hurricane hunters. did you see the footage of them punching the eye wall? So there is.
I don't think I saw that.
Oh, it is exceptional. Noah shared it where one of the P3s, I believe it was a P3, but Hurricane Hunter. So it punches the eye wall, goes into the eye, circles the eye, and then goes back out of the eye to exit the storm. It is impressive. I've got goosebumps talking about it, but it is impressive to watch. And shout out to the hurricane hunters because they get the data live for us. Yeah. Spent some time at the National Hurricane Center where they actually do a deep dive into some of the things that they do, and my hat's off to them. So.
Yeah, we've got a lot of great people out there working really hard to keep us safe when it involves weather. So don't forget who that is, please. We love them and we want them to stick around.
Yes.
So moving on for the last little bit part of our segment, you know, when we're lucky to not have a storm here, sometimes that means we get to go and help people to our east. And
Absolutely.
For you, Oklahoma was one
Yes.
too. And that was for tornadoes. Like, we don't get those huge F5 tornadoes down here, thankfully. EF5, whatever it's called. But last year, we got to go and help a couple of different places after the hurricanes.
Yes.
Yeah.
So we are very fortunate here in the Panhandle. Actually, the state of Florida leans forward very heavily in being prepared not just to take care of your community, but your neighbors, right? So ultimately, I'm responsible for Santa Rosa County, and then the other directors are responsible for their own respective counties. But sometimes we got to help our neighbors out.
Right.
So what does that look like? Exactly like you said. So we have incident management teams that are spread throughout the state. The one that we are a part of is Northwest Team. And what does that look like? So we will have multiple team members from different shops, if you will, EM shops that are in the area. Obviously, we will never deplete our entire shop, right? But we may take team specific. So it may be a logistics chief or an operations chief or a planner, or sometimes it's even me that will go out, create a team, and then assist those other counties in putting themselves back together. So last year we went to Oklahoma. We went to a city called Barnsdall. Absolutely amazing people there. That is the worst damage I have ever seen in my life from a tornado. Unfortunately, they did experience loss of life there. But to watch that community come together, and Oklahoma is beautiful, but watch that community come back together, take care of the citizens that were there, do the right thing for their people. The mayor, Johnny Kelly, absolutely exceptional man. One of those tombstone walks taller than life gentlemen. Really, really exceptional leader. Stepped forward, leaned forward for his community to make sure that they were taken care of, along with the Osage Nation. It was a beautiful experience to go through and to see. I'm glad it wasn't us, but we had the opportunity to help them. So that incident management team is pretty much at the beck and call to go anywhere, and we do that. The first deployment that we went on was Hurricane Matthew to Flagler County. I went with our previous director, Director Baker, and a few team members throughout the region. And that was really my first exposure to the IMT world.
Yeah.
Absolutely exceptional. And then, of course, we've taken public information with us, and that is the key. I can't tell you how important it is to have that piece in your team when you start to notice a trend or the public's starting to reach out and they have questions. When you guys lean forward with that, it really it takes a load off responders because the questions get answered.
Yeah, I remember in Madison County last year, which was my first deployment.
Yes.
We came there and they had no PIO. So I had to quickly kind of take over, learn the ins and outs of the organization, and hit the ground running, getting information out to their residents. So that was a very interesting experience.
Well, I will have you know that the director there, Lee, now has a full-time PIO. They are part of emergency management.
Yeah.
They lean forward in their messaging and really getting in front of whatever is in front of them. But they learned, I feel as though they really saw the true value in that piece of the team. So again, we can all do the tactical stuff, but if we can, again, handle the emergency at that lowest level possible, and 9 times out of 10, it is just sharing information. Hey, this is where you need to go to get water, to get ice, to get food, to have a sense of community. If you point them that way, we can take care of the rest. So it really is exceptional and a very integral part of that incident management team to have a public information officer with him.
It really is. And we could probably do an entire podcast just on deployments. And hey, Mike, maybe that's a good idea. If you're watching this, I know you're watching this, you're going to edit this. But so we've got to wrap up now, but I just want to remind everyone it's important to stay informed, follow those official sources. You can sign up for Alert Santa Rosa at alertsantarosa.com. That'll get you alerts straight to your location. You can set up a location for your home, your work, your kids' school, where your significant other works. Any location you want to put in there, that you have that ability, and that'll send you alerts based on those locations.
To that,
Yeah.
we do not set off alerts for thunderstorms. Why?
Yes.
Because we live in Florida. There is you can go
Every
in
5 minutes.
and select that is naturally defaulted to not go off for just a thunderstorm. But again, if it's watches and warnings, there's some metrics that we have in there. And again, some of it is geo-based. So one community may get an alert, one may not. But absolutely, we encourage you to sign up.
Absolutely. And so santarosa.fl.gov/know your zone, figure out your evacuation zone before you need to know it.
Yes.
You may not be thinking as clearly if we're in the middle of an emergency, such as a hurricane warning and an evacuation order. And also, if you're on Facebook, follow us at Santa Rosa County Emergency Management. That's where you're going to find a lot of the information when we do have tropical weather threatening our area. And also, if you're awake at 2 and 3 a.m. like I am, when there's a severe thunderstorm warning or, heaven forbid, a tornado warning, I'll be there with you every step of the way, keeping you informed on what's going on with the weather. So, Tom, thank you so much for being with us today. And you're an awesome public safety director. Santa Rosa County is lucky to have you.
Thank you very much.
And you may see him on a Facebook Live. Hopefully not anytime soon. Maybe after hurricane season.
After. We'll close this season out and say, hey, we made it. I'm good with that. But
all right. Well, thanks for joining us for this episode of Shop Talk Podcast.
Have a great day, Santa Rosa.